Hi everyone, and welcome to our third and final video for the unit on using the TI-84 to do some of these skills we've been doing by hand. Today's video is going to address how to use your TI-84 to graph a system of inequalities. And of course, with the inequality symbols like greater than, equal, less than equal, we're going to have that shading, and that all of our solutions will be in that darkened feasible region. So you already know how to do this by hand. I just want to give you a checking tool on the TI-84. So a couple things going on here. The first thing is different models of calculators have some different options for the buttons we have to press. And I will address that as we go. Now, here at home where I'm making this video, I only have my calculator. So after you watch this video, if your calculator is different than mine, you have a really new calculator, I'll try to talk you through it here, but you can just see me in class. I just want to lay the groundwork here. Of course, you're probably watching this video if you were absent, but you can always come to me one-on-one and we'll go through it with your specific calculator. But the gist of it is pretty much the same. So the first thing I want to do is I want you to go to y equals. And I want you to clear everything out. I want a clean slate there, because we're going to be doing something that's going to enable us to change these equal to signs to inequality symbols. Right now, if you hover over the equal sign, that's it. It's an equal sign. So we are going to have to turn on a special app to access those inequality symbols, okay? So actually, if you look down here at the body of your calculator, you're going to see this apps button right next to the math key. It's sort of like downloading an app on your phone or your computer. So let's go ahead and press that, apps. Now, depending on your calculator, where you got it, you may have nothing here. If you don't have anything, then you can pretty much just watch this video. You won't be able to follow along with your own, but still watch it, because when I'll have to link you the app. And that can be done. We'll do that in class. I'll just need your physical calculator with me. But if you have some apps in here, you want to arrow down. I believe they're mine are alphabetical, until you find this app called Inequalities. I'll show it to you here, right there. Many of your calculators will have this. They didn't want to spell out the whole word inequalities, so Inequalities is their shorthand version for that. We want to turn that on, so we're going to press enter. And what comes up is Texas Instruments inequality graphing, okay? Press any key to continue. And I think the best key to press to continue is y equals, because that's what we're going to have to type in. So let's hit y equals. Okay, notice what has happened on my calculator. See these down here? Ha, ta-da, now I can inequality graph. Now, if you have a newer model, you're not going to see these here. You are going to have to arrow to the left until you highlight like your Y1, and then you're going to see a screen that if you use these arrows here, like if you arrow, I think, one down and then start going left and right, you can change your equal sign right within Y1 and right within Y2. So please play with that. If you have a newer version of a calculator, you can play with color, all this stuff. So just check that out. But if you have my version where when you hover over the equal sign, this screen comes up, then you can just follow along here. Now, if you notice, our first inequality is y is greater than or equal to. Now, greater than or equal to on my calculator is right here. These 5 choices actually hook up with the 5 function keys. See F5 in green? This is F5, F4, F3, F2, and F1. Because they're in green, to access, for example, F5, you have to press the alpha green to green. So watch what happens. Hovering over the equal sign, I'm going to press alpha F5 and watch what happens. Changes, greater than or equal to. Now all I have to do is arrow to the right and type in the rest of my equation. x minus 3. Remember the x is right here. X, make sure you're pressing minus 3. And hit enter to store. And if you have a newer version, hopefully you've figured out how to get your greater than or equal to there. Now for your second equation, again, for us, we've got to hover over the equal sign or come back to the left even further on the newer models to adjust. And we have another greater than or equal to. Okay, that makes it easy. So again, this guy, F5, so we'll do alpha F5. And that switched it. And now we will go and type in the rest, which is negative x plus 2. Make sure you're typing negative x plus 2. Enter. And now hopefully you haven't changed your window at all. Let's hit window just to make sure. We should still be set, ignore him, x min negative 10, 10, 1, negative 10, 10, 1. If it's not, make sure you do that now. And once you have that, we press graph. Now, isn't that so cool? There's my first one. Here's my second one. Now, hopefully you can tell the darkest region is this guy right here, right? At the top here, he's darker than the rest. This would be my feasible region. So that's really cool. Okay, I just have one more to practice. So let's go to the second one. Got some fractions here. This time we're going to use the TI-84 to graph, and now I have these two guys. Now, I will say, this gets a little weird with the fractions. I'll show you why in a second. But let's just go back to the calculator. Let's clear out all the old junk. So let's press y equals and clear out these guys. Let me arrow over. Clear, clear. Okay, back up to number 1. So for the first one, what do I have? Less than. So my less than is right here. That would hook up with F2. So to change this, I'm going to press alpha F2. And now I have a less than. Kick over to the right. Now normally when I want to type a 1/3, I would press alpha y equals. But if you notice, alpha y equals for me, nothing happens. In the model calculator that I have, the ability to type fractions in is disabled when I'm in this app. I don't know why that is. I'm thinking the newer models, you can do it. If you can, great. But if you can't, like me, then we have to compensate. When we go to type 1/3 in, we're going to do it like this. We're going to put left parentheses, and then we're going to type 1 divided by, right here, divided by 3, close parentheses. Okay, that's my 1/3. Then my x plus 1. It's a bit of a pain, but we can get around it. Okay, the second inequality, let's arrow over, is greater than, just greater than. We know it's going to be a dotted or dashed line, so greater than. So now greater than is here. That's F4. So alpha F4 changes it, kick out. Now I have a negative 3/2. So parentheses, parentheses, negative, so make sure you're down here, negative 3 divided by 2, close parentheses, it'll look like that, then the x, and plus 3, enter. And now it should be good to go. When I graph it, let's see if we match on, see how it dashes the line? Isn't that cool? Dotted line, shaded underneath. Here comes another dotted line, shaded above. Can you tell where the feasible region is? Right here. This is where the darkest portion is, where the two shadings come together, sort of off to the right side. So that's how you graph a system of inequalities. It's pretty easy. The thing is, if you're watching this video, if you're confused at all, just see me in class. I may have to just work with you on your specific calculator. I may have to download the app for you, or not download it, but link it from one calculator to the next. We'll work that out in class, but at least you sort of have an idea of the commands and the keystrokes. Now, I will say this. When I'm not using, if I'm not doing this type of deal, I like to turn my app back off. I don't like it on because I don't like all this stuff on my screen if I don't need it. So let me just show you how to turn the app off. All you do is press apps and you select it again. Now for me, I've got to go down and find it. I have a lot of apps on here. So down, down, down we go. There it is, Inequalities. If I hit enter, it'll give me some choices. I can just continue, which fine if you want to do that. Or I can quit. I want to quit. So if I choose number 2 and hit enter, it should be not working anymore. Now when I press Y equals, see how I'm back to just equal signs? I'm sort of back to normal. I like normal most of the time. So now that screen's not popping up. When I hover over the equal sign, it's not popping up. If I get to a point where I want to use it again, I just go to apps and I turn it back on. It's very easy to toggle between it being on and off. So I go back, Inequalities, enter. Now I'm in inequality graphing, Y equals, and ta-da, it's back. I don't want it. I press apps again, and I go down, and I turn it off. So very easy to go back and forth depending on what you want to do. Enter, and then I quit. And now I'm out, go back to Y equals, and now I'm just back to normal. Okay. All right, great. That's our TI instruction. That's our third and final video for the unit. Hope you learned something here, and I'll see you next time.